It's the first ever smart heat exchange boiler espresso machine offering the brew temperature accuracy of a dual boiler, but at a much nicer price. It's innovative and flexible with a brew temperature control mode for consistency without a cooling flush, or can run in standard HX mode for always available steaming to crank out the milk drinks, assisted by a flush advisor for no guesswork temperature consistency. It's plumbable, has 2 programmable pre-infusion modes, time of day programmable on-off times, rotary pump, quick steam valves, angled portafilters, and more. Hey, espresso lovers, Mark here from Whole Latte Love with the new ECM Mechanika Max. It's a big, feature-rich machine in a compact package. You know, I've been following ECM for more than a decade, and it's not just the outstanding quality of their machines that draws the attention of espresso enthusiasts like me. It's also their commitment to innovation, and the Mechanika Max certainly is in a new breed of machines. With a very deep control system, the Mechanika Max is flexible. It can serve espresso-focused connoisseurs working with high-end specialty coffees, or switch modes to crank out milk-based espresso beverages for a crowd, yet still provide excellent, no guesswork brew temps with the flush advisor. More on that coming up. But the Max is going to go even further. Hey, if you want a machine that turns on and off for you, the Mechanika Max does it. How about 2 modes of programmable pre-infusion? The Max has active and passive pre-infusion. Combine those if running from the internal water reservoir, or go full passive with line pressure when plumbed direct to a water line. Because it's an E61 group, it can be equipped with flow control to take your espresso to the next level. So coming up in this video, I'll take you through those features and more. I'll show you how to get the most out of the machine. Cover brew temperature control mode, active and passive pre-infusion, the flush advisor, the smart timer to set on-off times so the machine is ready to go on your schedule. Our tech manager Brian will join me for a close look at internal components. I'll show you what's in the box and finish with some final thoughts, including what a surprising and capable value the Max is in relation to competing machines that might come up a little short in features by comparison. The Mechanika Max is a relatively compact machine, surprisingly so considering it has a large 1.9-liter stainless steel boiler and a rotary pump inside. It's plumbable, direct to water line, or can run from a generous 3-liter onboard water tank. Quick steam lever-operated joystick valves control the steam and hot water taps. Wands are insulated for no-burn properties and a drier steam. Gauges for steam and brew circuit pressure are mounted up high for easy visibility. The E61 group features the custom taper of other ECM machines, and there's added touches like the faceted exhaust port and matching chrome tip accents on the levers and angled portafilters. Brew temperature control is a marquee feature of the Mechanika Max. Turn it on and the machine heats based on a second PID temperature probe located at the top of the group, which samples temperature in the constantly flowing thermosiphon brew water loop out of the group. The result is incredibly accurate brew water temperatures. It's what sophisticated users have to have when working with specialty coffees. And this type of control is going to take all the guesswork out of using a heat exchange boiler espresso machine. Now, other heat exchange boilers have PID, but they're measuring temperature in the boiler and running the boiler much hotter than the desired brew temperature. On those machines, you often need to do a cooling flush before making espresso, and you're guessing on if to flush or for how long to flush in order to get an approximate temperature. When brew temperature control is turned on, the boiler of the Max runs at a lower temperature. And a lower temperature, that's going to mean less pressure for steaming milk, but hey, no problem. If you'll be doing a milk drink, just press the down button while your espresso is extracting, and the boiler immediately starts heating to increase the pressure. In seconds, you'll be ready to steam as the boiler reaches above 1.2 bar pressure and continues heating giving you plenty of pressure for milk frothing. After about 3 minutes, heating automatically stops and the machine drops back into brew temperature control mode. Brew temperature control mode is what you should use if doing mostly espresso or Americanos and maybe only the occasional milk drink. You'll save some energy with a lower boiler temperature and have perfect brew temperatures. Within BTC, there are 3 modes. BC1 is the slowest heating mode with the lowest temperature overshoot. BC2 is the recommended heating mode for most users, and BC3 is a fast heating mode for experienced users making shots in quick succession. Here's a graph of ECM supplied in-house test results for temperature stability with the machine running at BTC1 and T1 temp set to 92°C. It shows in portafilter temperatures logged every second for shots pulled in times ranging from 25 to 90 minutes after turn on. As you can see, the sweet spot with near perfect temps is in the 25 to 35 minute range after turn on. But even a shot pulled with a short interval 2 minutes later at 37 minutes and a long interval at 55 minutes are still within 1°C of the set temperature. A shot pulled 35 minutes later at 90 minutes was 2 degrees over, likely due to warmer input water and internal components. If always using the machine on that type of a schedule, the E11 offset can be user adjusted to compensate for that and other environmental factors. In this ECM test result graph, you can see the effect of the different brew control modes following an extraction. Notice BC3 recovers to set temp and is ready to go after 1 minute 10 seconds. But if you don't pull a shot, heating overshoots and it's a little over 8 minutes until temps are stable again. At the other end, set to BC1, initial recovery takes 1:30. But let it go and overshoot is less at just a little over 5 minutes until temps are fully stable again. Now, if you'll be doing a lot of back-to-back milk drinks, you'll want to turn brew temperature control mode off. That way, you'll always have plenty of steaming power. But Mark, you asked, doesn't that mean the boiler will be running a lot hotter and I'll need to do cooling flushes and be guessing what my brew temp is? Well, that's where the flush advisor function comes in and it's got your back. The flush advisor on the Mechanika Max eliminates brew temperature guesses when not running the machine in brew temperature control mode. As we learned earlier, run the machine in that mode and there's no need to do a cooling flush. With BTC off, a PID probe in the boiler controls heating, but the second probe in the top of the group continues to monitor actual brew water temperature, and its reading is used to tell you when a flush is needed. 3 dashes at the top of the display indicates brew water is too hot. When you see those, raise the lever without the portafilter in place and flush until you see the timer start, then lower the lever. When that timer starts, brew water is at your set temperature. Lower the lever and the display will read RDY for ready. When you see that, attach your portafilter and start the extraction. The flush advisor is incredibly helpful, a game changer that takes the guesswork out of using the machine in normal HX mode. If you happen to see 3 dashes at the bottom, that's an indication brew water is under your set temperature. You're likely to see that after an extraction for a short period of time, and once the display shows RDY again, it's at your set temp and ready to pull the next shot. Because the Mechanika Max has an E61 group, it can be equipped with flow control. Now, I'm not going to go deep into what flow can do in this video, but if you're interested, use the link up here or down there in the description to learn about the details and power of 2 very simple flow control profiles. Now, built into the Mechanika Max are 2 programmable pre-infusion modes. When running from the onboard water tank, active pre-infusion runs the pump for a programmable time ranging from 1 to 10 seconds. Passive pre-infusion can be used in 2 ways. If running from tank, it can be added after active pre-infusion, so the pump runs for the time set in the active pre-infusion stage, then stops for the time programmed in passive pre-infusion, ranging from 1 to 9 seconds. This allows the coffee to swell, which can help reduce channeling. It's also useful for other purposes, like allowing a fresh from roast coffee to off-gas prior to full pressure brewing, which is going to help reduce bright and acidic flavors. If plumbed direct to waterline, passive pre-infusion is used on its own. In that case, pressure from the plumbed connection pushes brew water into the coffee for the programmed time before the pump runs for the full pressure extraction. Pre-infusion modes can easily be turned off and on globally from a single menu item. Brian, thanks for joining me to take a look at the internals of the Mechanika Max. This is their smart HX system, right? So what do we got going on here?
All right, so this is the newest lineup in the Mechanika Slim series. The first thing that I think most people realize is the rotary pump. I love that they use this smaller size rotary pump so that they can continue with the same small footprint of the machine.
Now we've got the reservoir carrier out of here. Here's where the reservoir would connect, right?
Yep, exactly.
So you can go rotary or plumb.
Yep, like most of our plumbable machines, you got that switch on the bottom there to go back and forth between two. Another thing that I love to point out is you see on the back of the pump there, you could actually service this pump head, which is not something that you see very often on a lot of prosumer machines. Hopefully you never have to, but it's nice to know that you could actually rebuild these instead of having to replace the whole thing. And
ECM comes out of the service industry from years and years ago, so very important in their machines. The design is very serviceable, very reliable.
Exactly.
I want to take a look up. Let's get up top here, and because any water source gets routed out of the machine. It's not the case in every machine. It is here.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that they've actually introduced the same idea they have in the dual boiler machines with this, where anything that's coming off of this boiler, your safety valve, your vacuum relief, your OPV, is all joining up in this little cross section here and going out and down into the drip pan up front there. So definitely really nice in case you ever have any issues or leaks from any of those components. It's not going to get all over inside your machine and cause a short.
And the Smart HX, that means we have 2 PID temp probes, right? One in the boiler.
Exactly.
One over here.
One over here. This is something new, not seen very often, I think. It works really awesome. So the temperature is actually being gauged up here much closer to the group head, which gives the ability to get a much more realistic temperature reading instead of just going off of an offset programmed in the PID.
So it's right in a loop. That's a constant circulation of water out to the group, so the water's always flowing by this and you're always getting a temperature off.
Exactly, yes.
And then you like the way the electronics are over here, right?
I love the way that this is set up. You got everything nice and neat inside this housing right here. You got 2 screws right there that you can loosen up and you can take the whole thing off if you ever need to get inside the board. The PID is right below back there, so you would need to take that off if you did for some reason need to get that out for servicing. One thing that I think you noted is the ability to change set the time and date on there.
Yep.
So there's going to be obviously a battery somewhere that's hidden right inside the control board there. So not that you should need to worry about that anytime soon, but if that ever came up, there is a removable battery pack inside there.
And just one solenoid valve in this machine. A lot of plumbed machines are going to have more than one, right? They'll have one down here, but you get line pressure through this machine. That's part of its deal. The passive pre-infusion. And that solenoid valve, it's kind of buried in there, but really easy to get to actually if you ever needed to.
Oh yeah, if you ever needed to get in there, same idea as getting your electronics off. You just loosen those 2 screws. This entire assembly here just swings off to the side and you're still easy to access that solenoid from the front there.
And while we got the cover off, we'll just note again, full stainless frame on this. That's something they've gone to with some of their machines now.
I love that it's nicely polished on the inside too. Yeah. I could see that being beneficial when I'm working in there. Use the flashlight and it's going to really illuminate everything.
And then we'll just mention real quick, of course, we've seen this in other parts. Got the quick steam valves here, lever operated joysticks. A lot of people really like those. A lot less, you're not turning stuff all over the place. Just pop it down. Pop it up.
That's my style of choice, personally, yeah.
Okay. All right, well, Brian, thanks so much for taking us through the internals of the machine. As always, really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, I have to admit, when I first started working with this machine, I was slightly overwhelmed with the number of functions available using the 2 buttons. Really a lot going on, but it's truly simple to operate. Push and hold the 2 buttons to enter the menu, then use the down button to cycle through functions, the up button to select a function, and the up and down buttons to change a function's settings. So I'm not going to go deep into the explanation of every function, but here's a quick run through of what's available. T1 is brew temperature. Again, that's the temperature of brew water in the group. T2 is boiler temperature. FLU turns the flush advisor on and off. PI turns pre-infusion on and off globally. CLN sets the number of brew cycles before a warning is displayed to clean or backflush the machine. RST is used to reset warnings. AUS is used to turn on and off advanced user settings. BTC turns brew temperature control on and off and selects from the BC 1, 2, and 3 control modes. PRP sets passive pre-infusion. PRA sets active pre-infusion times. FL sets the number of liters of water used before the machine displays a warning to change a water filter. SBY turns standby off and on to use the scheduling functions. CLO is used to set the clock in 24-hour format in 10-minute increments. DAY sets day of the week, with 1 being Monday out to 7 for Sunday. SCH allows you to schedule 2 on-off times for weekdays and 2 for weekends. TAN selects between the tank and plumbed connection as the water source. The degree symbol toggles the display between Celsius and Fahrenheit, and E11 is used to make small corrections to temperatures measured in the machine and the temperature output based on ambient conditions. The Max comes well equipped. In the box are ECM's highly detailed, angled and balanced single and double spout portafilters, single and double shot filter baskets, a backflush disc, a real usable tamper, braided stainless steel plumb line, and adapter for connection to standard US size 3/8" compression fittings, group cleaning brush, and a detailed user manual. The Mechanika Max is an incredibly flexible machine. Really, it's a new breed, a compact machine with a suite of features not found in other products. The ability to switch temperature control modes and choose to be either espresso or milk drink focused, yet still have excellent steaming with temporary extra boiler heating, or perfect temps using the flush advisor. That's all awesome. 2 levels of time programmable pre-infusion and programmable on-off times. These are features users wanted and ECM responded. With the Max, ECM created a machine that sits below the price of competing rotary pump plumbable heat exchange boiler machines, yet somehow they've added features the others don't have. And you get it all with consistent build quality and components that are part of the DNA of all ECM products. That's the ECM Mechanika Max. It's available now at Whole Latte Love. If you have any questions about the Max or anything coffee, use those comments and I'd be happy to get you a detailed answer. And if you love coffee and espresso as much as I do, be sure and subscribe to the channel. I'm Mark, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you back here soon for more of the best on everything coffee, brought to you by Whole Latte Love.